All right. Welcome, everybody, to DuckTV Esports preview of MSI 2021. Specifically, we'll just be looking at the group stage today. Again, I'm Billy Spots. I'm also joined today again by Dylan Barton, who was with me on the Patch Notes podcast earlier today. We lost Alex. Very much a bummer, but we're happy to just talk about some competitive League of Legends. We talked about kind of the big Patch Notes changes coming into this tournament, specifically COG Lulu, which I think we'll see a lot of, which I'm not totally looking forward to, but it's League at the end of the day, so it'll be a good time. But yeah, Dylan, any immediate thoughts when it comes to MSI, just looking at the various groups and just the tournament setup as it stands right now?
Yeah, I would immediately just point like all my fingers towards RNG. They were playing really, really well throughout their LPL playoffs, and their bot lane in the grand finals, Ming and Gala. I mean, first of all, if you haven't heard of Gala, you should go look him up because he is definitely one of the S tier 80 carries right now.
Yeah.
He is
His
just fantastic.
pentakill was insane.
He's the heir apparent to Uzi, really. Like, he is just ridiculous. And then Ming, I mean, that's kind of a bold statement, but Ming, their support was absolutely like flawless in the grand finals. He was making zero mistakes, hitting every single skill shot, and they beat FPX 3-1 after FPX knocked them out earlier. So that just shows like they do have that kind of switch that they can hit where they can sort of rise up and maybe give Damwon like a big run for their money.
Yeah, I think I wasn't able to watch as much LPL as I wanted to, but I was able to watch the finals because like that was just one of those things where it's like, oh, I have to watch this, right? I try to like at least always watch a couple playoff matches from each region. Although LCK this year was boring.
Yeah,
it was rough. Not to take anything away from Damwon, but it was very much like, when you're watching the LPL, it's like, people used to joke, it's like, oh, NA is just Korea without the talent, right? And like, not to like get too like circular and start talking about stuff down the line already, but I very much enjoyed the finals for NA this year a lot more because it was a lot more hectic and a lot more like, we're just going to throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks. And then, we ended up with a pretty fun 3-2 series. We'll get more into that down the line. But yeah, just immediately looking at it, they're Group A alongside Pentanet and Unicorns of Love. Gigabyte Marines was supposed to be in this tournament. I think they were going to be a Pool 2 team as well. But they were a team I was really looking forward to because I really like watching Gigabyte Marines, and just sadly they couldn't make it because of travel restrictions. That being said, I just can't see either of Pentanet or Unicorns of Love taking games off of RNG. I just think if RNG drops a game in this group, I'll be shocked. And that's not like, I hate trying to like disrespect wildcard teams because I love it when wildcard teams come out of nowhere and play well, but yeah, I just can't see it happening.
No, I will say like it's obviously you have no idea how good the regions are relative to each other, like when there's been a long period where you're not playing between regions. But watching RNG, they sort of look like they're hitting their stride at the right time. And they have just elite, absolutely like elite talent, like all across their roster. I mean, you already have their bot lane, but then they also have a like really strong top side of the map. Like I know Xiaohu has switched roles and he's now top laner for RNG. Some of you might recognize Xiaohu from back when he was a mid laner on RNG, like when they first were making it on the world scene with Uzi. Xiaohu is a beast at top lane. I think some of the things he might have struggled with mid lane, for whatever reason, like he's not having those same issues top lane. He's been tearing up the league. I saw a lot of people are saying he should be like MVP. And then Cryin and Wei are a good duo. I don't think they're the best mid jungle at the event, but they don't have to be. They absolutely don't have to be. I'd be shocked if they even gave up like a Baron, like in groups. Like they're just way better.
Outside of a crazy, yeah, I really think they're just gonna kind of roll over Group A. But I think the more interesting conversation is who comes out second. I think it's Unicorns of Love loves to lose because they are a more experienced wildcard team, just looking at the guys on there, right? I think I could actually be completely wrong about Boss, so I'm going to double check this really quickly. Oh, no, Boss has totally been around for a while. He's been to Worlds, I think. Hold up. Yeah, he's been to 2 Worlds, I think, and he's been to MSI a couple times too. Yeah, okay. So like they do have like a semi-experienced like roster. Meanwhile, I think Pentanet is, I think it's a couple mainstays of like the Oceania region, but like this is also a very gutted Oceania region just because like the OPL shut down and they're currently using I think ESL is hosting their league. Um, but like I think they're in pool 4 for a reason. For those who don't know, just like how the MSI format works is like a bunch of teams are seeded into different pools based on regional results. So it's like um, China, Europe, and Korea are all pool 1 teams. NA, PCS, and uh, Gigabyte Marines were gonna be pool 2. And Gigabyte. Oh my god, I can't say that name for whatever reason. Gigabyte Marines had to pull out because of COVID issues. Um, and then pool three and pool 4 were all the wildcard teams sorted by previous performances. Um, so yeah, I think Unicorns of Love is going to come out second, but I think it's going to be like I think they're playing a quadruple round robin if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I have the schedule. Yeah, I
Yeah,
that sounds right to me, but I can look at the schedule.
yeah, I'm like just
But
trying to
yeah,
so
from what I haven't watched. So this is the thing, like I haven't watched. I have never watched Pentanet play, so I can't say for sure that they'll be bad. UOL we've seen a little bit of, but from what I'm reading about Pentanet, they have a weak bot lane. Like their bot lane was getting picked on in the like local tournament, and if your team's bot lane is getting picked on in your local Oceanic tournament after your best 2 AD carries got transferred out of the region, and then you're going to an event again, you have to play multiple times the best bot lane in the world. Like I just don't really see their path to scoring points in the group.
yeah. I hate trying to like predict record. Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. We got Alex back in here to cover MSI. We were just in the middle of talking about Group A. We think it's pretty much set in stone who's coming out first. The slightly more interesting conversation is who comes out between Unicorns of Love and Pentanet, but I think it's Unicorns of Loves to lose, just because they are a more experienced international team, and I think Pentanet it's a kind of gutted OPL region as I just mentioned, and so I definitely think it is. I don't know. You know, you have a lot of games. You have 8 games to really kind of determine who you are as a team. So maybe Pentanet just comes out swinging and surprises everybody. But my guess is RNG and UOL. So
Yeah, yeah. And then moving on to Group B, I actually think this might be the best group. We have a lot of teams that have a few people with international experience, but no team was massively favored. Like Mad Lions won Europe, but that was a complete shock to everybody, and we're 2 patches different from what they won on. So
three
we don't
patches.
really, or 3 patches different, yeah. So we haven't really seen any evidence that like Mad Lions they've been solid, but we haven't seen any evidence that like they are like a top of the line team yet. So they're going to have to like prove it. I know Humanoid is pretty good mid laner. He had a worse this split than in previous, but he's gonna have a really good matchup, especially against PSG Talon. For those that don't know, PSG Talon has Maple on their roster. Played on Flash Wolves, I believe, in 3 different Worlds and MSI events.
Mm-hmm.
So
Maple's been around for a while.
Yeah, yeah, and he's been a pro mid laner for 6 or 7 seasons, and he's widely regarded as an extremely talented player.
Mm-hmm.
So I think PSG Talon actually has a lot of talent on their roster. They're sort of a unified Taiwan team of all the like different teams like AHQ and Flash Wolves that have like disassembled. So they could give serious problems to the European champs.
The issue with PSG though is that they're going to be heading into MSI without the starting AD carry. Talon has been, I believe, hospitalized with a lung condition, I think, or no, he wasn't hospitalized, but they're making him stay not Talon, Unified, what am I saying, but Unified, PSG Unified was ordered to stay at their doctor's house and was not permitted to travel with them, and he finished the splits with, I think if he was able to go MSI, he would be the highest KD. He had like a 14.5 or something of all 80 carries at the split. He had a really breakout season in the split this season. And so I think they're I don't. He's not definitely certainly not the best AD carry at MSI. Definitely not. But I think he's obviously a top talent. He's only 21. I think he's going to be improving every year. He's got a lot
Oh
of.
wait, are you talking about
Uni-
Doggo
no,
or
I'm talking
Unified?
about Unified. Unified.
Okay.
He's got a lot of potential, and I think PSG are going to be hurting it, or going to be feeling his absence.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, this isn't actually connected to performance, but like if you look back to 2020 Worlds, like PSG Talent, they kind of had to go through a similar situation where they couldn't get all their players in, and so they had to take a bunch of subs, and the subs actually outperformed the starters, which again, that kind of falls into like you don't actually have as much footage on them, and so you can't reliably scout them the same way. But there is that kind of like, oh, I wonder if they recapture that magic. But not having Unified is definitely kind of a bummer for PSG Talon. You don't get to see them at full strength, but they are a team I definitely want to keep tabs on because I think they are. They have a lot of players like I really like. Like I've always been a big LMS fan when they were around. I forget exactly how long ago they disbanded now, but I always really liked the AHQ teams and the LMS teams and Flash Wolves and Taipei Assassins, and when they were, way back when in season 2, holy crap. But yeah,
I think what's also interesting in Group B is not only PSG. I think I would be tempted to give it either to PSG if not for the presence of Mad Lions. I don't think a lot of fans would necessarily say that the one team to represent Europe would be Mad Lions, right?
Mhm.
But their performances have been really clean, I feel, this season. Do you guys think that Mad Lions is a proper contender to potentially take home the gold?
I think they would. So at least in my opinion, like I definitely think that if you're going like tier list, right? Like I think tier 1 is RNG, Damwon, and I think Mad Lions is like high end tier 2. But like they're a pretty volatile team just because of how young they are. It's like, yeah, now they have international experience and they have playoff experience and they have like a playoff win experience. And then, before we were even recording, Dylan and I were talking where it's like, yeah, or no, sorry, it was RNG. That's who you mentioned, right? Who like they had lost, and yeah, never mind. So it wasn't RNG, but Bad Lions. It's like I think they might be good. They're too young, and they're kind of a question mark for me because
yes,
although the last time I was this uncertain about a European team going into MSI, 2015 Fnatic just rolled everybody and almost beat SKT. So you never know, right?
I think the biggest question mark with Mad Lions right now is their jungler. Elioya is still a rookie. I believe it's his first season in competitive play, and he's gonna, if they progress, he's gonna be up against Canyon. Like, how would you guys want to be like in your first professional season of League of Legends, and you're going up against Canyon in one of your games? That's scary, man.
I mean, I will say I'd rather play him in my first season when there's less information
Less
about
pressure?
me than or because Canyon's been playing for a long time. There's a lot of information about him. Like Elioya was just playing in local leagues last year, so like he probably hasn't used all of his pocket picks yet. But I mean, he had a really good split, and I would definitely say like the Mad Lions roster has by far like the most talent per role. Like Armut is a good player, Elioya is a good player, Humanoid's a good player, Karzi is a good player, Kaiser's a good player. Not all the other teams could just go down a line and say like all of our players are going to perform like well. So I do think they can get out of the group like without too much of an issue. Like there are some experienced players in the mix here, but looking at the sort of like contending rosters, I don't see Mad Lions as having any one position that's going to like make or break the game for them. So they really need a better game plan, which to their credit, they have been one of the best game planning teams, and they look like they were significantly more prepared than both G2 and Rogue in the playoffs. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and put them sort of in that high like tier 2 contender.
Yeah, if they don't make it out of groups, like I think something had to have gone terribly wrong.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's kind of the same issue as Group A, right? Where it's like the top spot is kind of solidified because I think Mad Lions is that much better than everybody. Although Mad Lions World's performance was super disappointing, but that also came down to like Arome, and then I can't think of their jungler's name from last year off the top of my head right now. But specifically with the questions about PSG Talon, right? Like that second spot isn't locked in at all, right? like Turkish teams at MSI, they always do surprisingly like well. They always like pull off a really interesting upset here or there. I don't think it'll be enough.
Shadow was their jungler that was struggling at Worlds.
Is that who it was?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Shadow was still on their team during Worlds. Maybe they already had switched.
Oh yeah. Okay, no, I'm remembering now because he's a. Oh, he doesn't. Oh, he doesn't. He's not on a team right now, unless I'm completely misreading this.
Yeah, he's not doing anything right now. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Madline. I think, but like, I don't know if I'd say that League is so just the nature of League. It's in how it's a game of incremental advantages played up to insurmountable late games. Like I don't really. It's so hard to see like. I think that's why, and you'll see these teams that go on these insane like dynasties that have gone. I mean, like SKT with their like I think it was like the 3 worlds in a row. Samsung especially before them, but like you have these players that go on that just amass this amount of game knowledge that requires them to do all the little things correctly, and do all the and compound all of these advantages. You have top talent in League. But I think I don't, and I'm not sure Mad has the X factor or the the experience really to really compound their spot over Damwon, over Royal. I mean, I think they're a great team. I don't reasonably see them winning MSI just because Damwon and Royal, but I think they'll give I think they'll give a good showing of themselves. I think they're a very interesting team. I definitely think they're going to be one to watch as their players mature a bit more.
I think this will be good experience for them, but like, I mean, not looking too far ahead because I think we want to try to do a Rumble preview next week, just after all the top 2 teams have been decided. I think they're going to be a team that's really, maybe they continue the trend of whoever wins Europe at some point and breaks the trend of Fnatic G2, goes on a run and just like it becomes Fnatic G2. Oh, and now Mad Lions.
That'd be yeah.
But I think this will be a great experience for them, right? I really like watching Mad Lions. I think they're a ton of fun to watch. I really am hoping that Arma decides to pull out Wukong again because I love watching Wukong, even though I hate playing against him. But, I'm also really curious to see how Kaiser, works with like the Cog Lulu changes. Because like, I know China loves Kog'Maw. Like China's always loved Kog'Maw. So like he gets play even when he's not great there. So like for RNG, it's like I'm not too worried about that. Korea, I expect them to like Kog'Maw Lulu changes just because they always like that hyperscaling gameplay. But I really want to see how Carzzy and Kaiser adopt that change. But like beyond there, I'm really intrigued. I'm really happy to see Pain Gaming and BRTT back. BRTT, he's one of the older players, I think, currently playing in any professional league. He's 30. And he hasn't been to an international tournament since 2017. So it's been 4 years. Like there's no guarantee that like they win, but I'm definitely going to be pulling for Pain Gaming out of Group B just because I love that storyline and I really want to see BRTT find success because this dude he lives League of Legends like through and through, right? Like he's got Katarina tattoos, he's got a Draven tattoo. He's been playing since like 2012 professionally.
God,
like
to tattoo yourself with Draven, what a concept.
Yeah, no, wow. He's an 80 carry main through and through. The dude loves he loves himself some Draven, but I really I think I'm gonna be rooting for BRTT just because I like the storyline and I would like to see him make it out of groups. I think that'd be really entertaining. But yeah, I think Group B is going to be the most contentious group just because beyond Mad Lions, you have a bunch of teams who are probably around a similar skill level just because of, coming from wildcard regions and then PSG also just having a lot of uncertainty with their roster. And then, Turkish teams, which they always perform respectively. Like I've never come away from a tournament and gone, oh, this Turkish team sucked. Like it was always like, oh, they surprised me. Right. Like you think back to, oh man, 2016 MSI is like, for me, that's the gold standard of MSI tournaments just because that was the only time NA did well. Oh, no, I'm an idiot. 2019, because that was when Team Liquid beat IG, right?
2017?
2019, I think, because 2017 and 2017 was TSM, 2016 was CLG, and then I think 2018 and 2019 were TL.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, I like watching Turkish teams. They're always pretty fun. They always put in a really good show. It'll be pretty fun to see Holy Phoenix back because this is also a guy who's been around forever. Pretty sure he's been to MSI a bunch too. I might be completely misplacing him, but no, this is actually his first MSI, but he's definitely been to Worlds, right? Unless I'm just completely full of it. He's only been to one Worlds? Wait, this doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm going crazy now. Because I've recognized Holy Phoenix, but I guess I just
maybe he was at MSI. I definitely recognize that name too. So
actually, wait,
he must have Phoenix might international.
Yeah, Holy Phoenix might also be one of those guys where it's just like people always talked him up as like a great talent from a wildcard region. I guess he just never made it to an international tournament or outside of Worlds once. So yeah, Group B will be pretty interesting. I think it's Mad Lions, and then I want Pain Gaming to come out, but if I had to guess, just based on both like previous performance and where teams are ranked, I'm gonna guess it's Mad Lions and the Istanbul Wildcats. Those are gonna be the guys who make it out.
Interesting. Yeah, if not for missing the 80 carry, I would have actually really liked PSG Talon's roster. But if you're missing one of your starting players at a big tournament like this, that's like the margin for error is very slim at this level of competition. So
yeah. In Group C, which is where NA's hopes are lying in C9. Group C is Cloud9, Detonation, Focus Me, Damwon. I know they're Damwon Gaming Kia now, but they're still Damwon to me. Yeah. And then Infinity Esports, sponsored by Gillette. I was going through it and I like legitimately read their name initially as Gillette. And I was like, oh wait, that's not who they are. They're Infinity Esports, but they're sponsored by Gillette. But this, oh man, I hate to be like this group is set in stone.
I don't. I mean, it's all right. Damwon's just Damwon, right? Like Damwon is Damwon. Cloud9 have looked. I think really the storyline with this group is whether or not Cloud9 are going to actually like make a name for themselves, or if they're going to fall to the curse of like never overestimate or underestimate how far a North American team can fall in international competitions. I think Cloud9 look great. I think Cloud9 looks solid. I think they have a really nice roster. Obviously, oh my god, what am I saying? I think Perks is doing Perks things. He looks absolutely phenomenal right now. He's regained that glory. I think their
top playoff buff is real. Like, sorry to like
it really is. I don't get it, but like there's something about it. I think Sven is playing really, really clean in that bot lane, especially with the competition that he's got in bot lane. No Viper in MSI, obviously. Which is weird. I mean, that reminds me, there's some really great players who didn't make it to no Viper, no Nuguri. Who else? There's no Viper,
no Doenby either.
No Doenby. Carria's not there. Shovi is not going to MSI. That's nuts, dude. So I think Cloud9
in the world.
It's
no
weird.
MLXG, there's a lot of people missing.
So I think, but back to what I was saying, I think Cloud9 look great, but it's a North American team at an international competition. You can never, and it's really hard to shake that monkey off your back. You see it all the time in other professional sports as well. But when you have like playoff DNA, right? When you have when you have tournament DNA, it really makes for a more significant factor than you give it credit for. And so I'll be watching Cloud9 closely. I think they're probably like top 5 teams in the tournament, definitely, but I'm not sure I would I don't know. I think it will take a pretty significant throw to get either the other guy to get the other teams, get Infinity or DT or DFM to progress past that stage. But
it would take a pretty significant collapse from C9, and then I mean, C9 still, they do have a couple wild cards. I mean, Blabber, he has international experience at this point. 3 or 2 tournaments worth. But this is also a different Blabber, right? Like this isn't the same Blabber from 2019, 2018. Yeah, even really from last year. Like I thought he looked better this past split than he had previously. But it was also, it's hard to really kind of shine as a jungler when you guys are just playing Hecarim Udyr every single game for an entire split. Like I know he still like snuck some Olaf games and a Nocturne game, and actually I'm just gonna pull up his match history here. But
yeah, Blabber loves the Nocturne actually.
Yeah,
You might play that.
I love watching Blabber. Like he's so much fun. I mean, he had like a Nidalee game, a couple Nidalee games, some Lilia games in there as well. Although, did Lilia get nerfed, or am I going crazy?
They have. Do you think TSM?
I think Lilia did get nerfed, but it wasn't very significant.
I don't think Lilia's going to still play at MSI. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think TSM have a weak spot? Like, where do you think they're gonna? Where do you think their series is gonna be made?
Or
like,
C9.
TSM or C9?
Yeah. C9.
Yeah.
If anything, Fudge just inexperience, because Dylan and I were kind of talking about this like before we were recording. His growth from lock-in till now was really impressive, and I was like, oh hey, like this guy's pretty good. Like he's looking better.
Yeah.
But like, there's always that worry. First international tournament, or no. Sorry, he was at Worlds in I want to say 2018. I want to say 2018.
2019. He was there for Mammoth.
Yes, yeah, no, okay, you're right. I don't remember exactly how well he played individually. I know he finished bottom 4 at the tournament. But that's also just, I put that more on OPL Mammoth teams just being OPL teams. Yeah. Although everyone in their group finished 0-2. So like, looking way too far back into a tournament, but I think if Fudge can keep growing at the extent he has, this could be a huge tournament for not only him, but C9 and even arguably North America. Just, I mean, there's not anything you can add to the conversation of North America internationally, right? It's hope for the best, expect the worst. And even then, sometimes your expectation for the worst doesn't match what ends up happening, right?
Yeah, I'd just be happy if we don't have an any % speed run in this tournament. But I actually think this is like a bigger. There's a few bigger storylines outside of just like, oh, like can NA do anything? I think there's sort of like a bubble in League of Legends right now with like player salaries, and you saw it, like Perks was one of the biggest league transfers ever. And Sven was like already 11, an expensive transfer. Yeah.
It was 11 million.
I don't remember the exact figure, but
it was crazy. I mean, like NA is hyperinflating that bubble. Like
yeah,
there's no conversation to be had there.
Cloud9 is actually an experiment. Like, can you just buy your way to like a competitive team in NA?
Ooh,
and like perks right against there, Showmaker, yeah. Like there's no better way to test like, is it worth spending like however many $1 million on one player than like him against Showmaker, or like Sven against Ghost? Like you're really putting them to like the highest level of test. And I think if Perks and Sven at least like hold a candle, then that can at least signal like, hey, like Western players are worth it. Like it is worth it to try to like build these super teams. They can compete. But if Cloud9 can't compete, I mean, if it's specifically issues with the other players, like if it's an issue with Fudge, Blabber, or Vulcan, then you're not as upset because those are the players you expected less from. But if there are issues in the mid lane as well, or like a bot lane is just dying like quite a substantial amount, then you really have to wonder like if we're gonna keep seeing investors actually like paying big money for these North American teams when the product they're putting out is not particularly close.
That'll be interesting, like a prospect of like the Brooklyn Nets at Worlds or something like
that. Yeah, I mean, like I could literally have like an hour-long conversation about my opinion on hyperinflation in esports, especially when like you look back to like when it really kicked off in 2016 with Immortals, right? This organization that did not exist, had no experience in League prior to this. They come in, they buy a bunch of the best talent, right? I think that at their first roster for 2016 was Huni, Rainover, Hobelter. Was it Wild Turtle? Why do I think it was Wild Turtle?
It might have been Wild Turtle. I know he was
Yeah, it
on
may have been
Immortals
Wild
at one point.
Turtle. Oh man. Uh, but specifically, yeah, I'm trying to find the roster from 2016 right now. Yeah, no. Okay, Huni ran over Pobelter, Wild
Pobelter,
Turtle, and
Turtle, and
Adrian.
Adrian. Yeah, Adrian actually.
What is Adrian even up to nowadays? Oh, he's retired. Oh, interesting. Okay, kind of complete segue. But for NA specifically, right? Like 2016 is when the like venture capitalist funds really started kind of pumping money into it because you had Immortals and NRG, and then teams like, were they called Apex at the time? I think that was Apex. You just had all of these teams kind of pop up with a bunch of backing behind them, which forced teams like C9 and TSM and TL and CLG to really kind of reassess their own funding. And then they were bringing in venture capitalist funds, and then really like they haven't been seeing a return on investment because since the LCS like franchised, it's been really kind of a disappointing product because viewership has declined, international performances have even declined. Like this right now, like I hate kind of playing the absolute game where it's like, this is do or die. Like I think NA and both C9 really have like a while before you really kind of start seeing the bubble popping, at least financially speaking. But this is like the first time we've really seen NA, or not the first time nor the last time, but this is like, we have the largest transfer in esports history. Like, does it pay off? Does C9 have a respectable MSI? And then like that also brings in the question, what do you consider a respectable MSI? Is it we took a Chinese or Korean team to 5 games, right? Or is it we actually managed to make finals? Sorry, I've been rambling for so long, so if you guys want to throw something in there, feel free
No,
to.
yeah, I was just looking up the Perks transfer. It was a $5 million buyout and then a $2.7 million contract for Perks after the buyout.
Okay.
So that
Around
like
7
that's
million.
by far the most we've ever seen one player like get purchased for. Like I couldn't. I thought it was like a joke or so. Like I was like April Fools when I saw it.
Yeah. What was there's an 11 million number that keeps getting thrown around there, but I think for C9, you have to finish at worst 4-2, right? You drop your 2 games to Damwon, you beat the wildcard teams, you move on to the Rumble, and you reassess from there, right?
I will say if they manage somehow to beat Damwon one of the games, then you would also accept them dropping a wild. Like 2 losses.
Yeah.
Yo,
If you beat Damwon in either game, then nothing else that happens really matters. It's like a big achievement.
If they can bloody Damwon's nose, I will
even if they take Baron, like that's
I'll buy a jersey, man. I don't care, dude. Like that's insane.
I was like, I'm a big C9 fan. Like they have been my team forever, right? I thought I had my C9 jerseys. I even have like a C9 jersey that got signed by the entire 2017 roster, plus like a bunch of Dignitas players. Like I have a someday signature on this thing. But yeah, for C9, like you finish 4-2 at worst, right? But you have to like, if you drop both games to Damwon, which I think is, if I had to give like a probability, it's like 99% chance, sure. Like, because there's always that like slim chance, but it's like Damwon and
it's Damwon.
Korea. Yeah, like they've really
I give them a more like a 5 to 10% chance to win 1 out of 2. Like you get two shots on a completely new patch. I think they got about a 10%.
We'll say 95%. I actually haven't taken a look at like their solo queue performances. I probably should have done that before I came in here. But like it's also solo queue. Like you can't. It's impossible.
There's so little to be. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Who was it? I think
Balls was Diamond 2
and play. Yeah.
Well, okay. Wonder also faced the consequences of that because he didn't even. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was bad, but like he was like he didn't feel it was necessary to play for 3 months. So that tells you like solo queue is obviously it's important for practice and like understanding the game, but I don't think the decisions you're making in solo queue are relevant at all. So
yeah, it like I said, like this really is, you don't ever want to like put a crazy amount of pressure on a team, but it's like for C9 and really just NA, it's like you have to have a respectable performance at this event, like not only for your reputation, but like for potential financing down the line, right?
If they can take a game off Cloud, if they can take a game off Damwon, then if
The
they
whole
can make
tournament is a success, even if they
yeah,
get
we
knocked out
can
in
go
round
home.
two.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
we
Yeah.
can wave our
Um,
flags. Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of like final predictions because we already kind of run through it. I think Group A is going to be Royal or RNG and UOL. I'll let Alex and Dylan give theirs. We'll go through all the groups. And then I believe next week we'll try to do a Rumble preview as well because they're, it is segmented off by weeks.
Yeah, to me, it's got to be, it's like RNG, and then I don't, based on what I read about Pentanet GG, they don't really stand, even against UOL, I don't really think they stand much of a chance at all. They could totally prove me wrong, and I hope they do. I hope they at least like have some interesting strategies, but they don't really have that much talent, and I think this UOL team is like pretty talented for a wild card team, so.
I think.
Does Alex want to be the dissenting opinion and say Pentanet's making it out?
I kind of want to. No, it's all right. I think Royal is. I think it's Royal.
Yeah, Royal never go up. Oh, Alex frozen on mine. I don't know if he's frozen on your end too.
Yeah, I just lost Alex too.
All right, we'll see if he hops back in a bit. But with Group B, I think this is really interesting. I'm going to say Mad Lions and Istanbul Wildcats, but I do want Mad Lions and Pain. Oh, there we go. Alex is back. Yeah, you just froze for a second on us.
Yeah, I got that. I think obviously, I think it's all right. I'm just gonna say Royal, and then I'm gonna say Royal and Unicorns. I don't want to. I'm not gonna die on the hill of Pensanet. Not yet.
I'm not gonna rock the boat.
Not yet.
What are you guys like final Group B predictions?
So I'll give into some Mad Lions hype, and I'll have Mad Lions get. I mean, I really just think like you should think that they're getting out based on what we've seen from Europe compared to other regions.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I'm really high on this PSG Talon roster because like
Even
I've
with
seen
the
Maple
unified-
be absolutely fantastic at basically every event he's ever been to, and
Yeah.
I'm also kind of thinking about Pain Gaming. I'm not sure I could pick one between PSG and Pain because they're good for really different reasons. Pain has like a really solid roster everywhere, and they brought in the Korean import Lucci, who is playing really well, but I don't know. I just haven't seen very many Brazilian teams play. And then PSG Talent, I have seen a few of these players play, but they have a substitute coming in, so I think that really hurts their chances. So I guess I would have to pick Pain as my other team to come out.
I'm gonna say Pain. I'm gonna say Pain as well, and I really think the X factor with Pain is the depth that that Tinones and that Robbo have. I mean, both those guys have such wide champion pools. I mean, think about how narrow the meta has been. I think those two. I think they played like 13 and 16 champions or something over the split, and
Wow.
I think those two players. I think that could be the difference. One pocket pick could be the difference between a make or break series. And so I think I give those two guys. I'm going to give it to Pain. I think it's going to be narrow. I think that I could easily see it going. I could easily see it going to PSG, but the 80 carry loss with Unified is that's so rough when you lose a starter in League of Legends, and so I think that plus the champion pool is going to be enough for them to sneak a win over PSG and take the series. They have so much momentum too. I mean, they like reverse swept to get their spot in MSI.
Wow.
Like they've got such these guys play with such like an arrogance. Like they have this chip on their shoulder that reminds you of like watching like Damian Lillard or something. And so I think you'd be wrong to. I could easily see it. Okay, I could easily see PSG going. But I think Unicorn. I always love rooting for guys like that, so I think I'm going to give it to Unicorn, or not Unicorns. Pain.
Yeah, and then I think Group C we just went over. I think we're pretty much in universal agreement here. Damwon and C9. If C9 doesn't make it, it's a disaster. It is just utter embarrassment.
Here is my question for Group C: does anybody think Damwon will lose a game?
I think they might drop 1 to C9.
How many did they drop in the split?
They went 16-2, and then they went undefeated in playoffs.
They lost 2. They
lost
lost 2, man.
I actually have to look this up.
Damwon are flirting with history, man. They are like just tickling at the feet of the greats, of
you're looking
Samsung
at
Galaxy and SKT.
Yeah, the problem is you're looking at series loss. They went 33-10 in games, which is still absurd. But like best of one, there's always that volatility. So I think at worst they drop 1 to C9, but I don't think
I have something to say.
that.
I have something to say. I think like the 33-10, that is a very, very, very important thing, and I think that's going to get exposed when they play Royal in the finals, because they have like I think those 10 the one weakness with Damwon is that they can get sloppy, right? They are like I think Royal play very precise and very clean and very technical, and I'm not sure Damwon play as precise and as clean as technical. I think in terms of raw talent, I think Damwon have a better top, better jungle, a better mid, and I think their jungle mid duo is I think
the best in
one
of the best we've ever seen.
It's stupid on any team. Man. It's stupid, and so I think not Sorter. I think Showmaker and I think Canyon are going to eat this tournament. I think Gala is better than Ghost.
I think RNG actually has a pretty big bot lane advantage, and if we're gonna see them taking games, it's gonna be down there because Ghost and Barrel have been decent, but they've definitely died in lane, and that is one of Damwon's weaknesses locally in Korea is that if teams can sort of force them into like the Fiesta playstyle, where like just random things are happening all over the map. That is Damwon will get caught up in that, and because they all believe in their own talents, they'll get caught up in that and take some unfavorable fights, and then maybe a teleport or two, and then all of a sudden they're down 3K gold. That would be the way they lose. But maybe Cloud9 can get a really good game plan off and surprise them with something. And I'm sure, like, if you're C9, you have nothing to lose playing against Damwon, so you probably have drawn up like a pretty entertaining game plan, at least for one of these games. Like maybe one time you play them standard, one time you just do something absolutely crazy.
Bring back the Scion lane swap from Game 5 of the finals, right? Just like do something crazy like that. Just like throw you are very rarely going to beat this has been true for as long as I've been watching League, with the exception of like 2018 or really 2018, and then like the couple times Europe was arguably better than Korea. But it's like you are very rarely going to beat a Korean team on macro alone. You need to throw a just absurd curveball at them. You need to make them panic, and that's really hard to do with just how like practiced and refined and dedicated like Korean teams are. So
I'll say it's a pretty big benefit that C9 gets to play them literally first, the first game of the tournament. So if they think they have something from scrims that is like fresh off the press, they might save it for like later. But if they were to beat Damwon one time in their group, they'd be almost guaranteed to get out. So it might be worth just pulling it out right at the start, doing something crazy. But yeah, like watching, it's so fun to watch Damwon. Like it just feels like you're watching like such perfect league. Sometimes they can struggle with draft, but their execution, like when they get a good draft, is just unparalleled.
It's like watching a school of fish, right? Perfect synchrony.
But I think that. Sorry, I'll let Alex finish.
I'm going to say one last thing. Top is going to be interesting in the finals when we see Khan versus Xiaohu, because Khan is absolutely playing like he's angry, man. Like he knows his last few performances on the international stage have been suboptimal, and he's trying
he got traded, so he's
taking some names.
Playing, he's trying to prove something.
Is so flexible. He's shown to play so fluidly and change his play style in addition to what RNG need. And I think top lane is going to be one to watch. I want to say mid lane. It's Showmaker, but I think Royal I forget the Royal supports, but I know that their jungler and their support have really, really nice. Yeah, Ming has a really nice interplay, and I almost think that they can sneak something in the mid lane if RNG plays safe and just try and not like give, because he's not gonna beat Showmaker, right? Like it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, only Chovy can really beat Showmaker in lane, and then we see like even when Chovy does beat Showmaker in lane, like all of his other lanes lose and his jungle loses, and you're
Even
like,
when
wow,
Chovy
like that's one of the best teams, and they're getting killed.
Chovy didn't make it to MSI.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
big sad. But I think if they can force a stalemate at the very least and make something happen with that jungle support partnership bot lane, I think that's where we can see a couple of things go wrong for Damwon. I think that's where you can see the underdog's advantage play out for Royal. I think ultimately Dam wants to win, but I think that I could see them dropping the game to Royal, maybe two, maybe. Doubt it though, but maybe two.
I think Royal are going to win the whole thing.
You think Royal's going to take?
I think Royal.
Okay.
After watching
So,
Royal play FPX, because
I do love this conversation.
FPX sort of fumbled, but go ahead.
I do love the conversation, and I do love this going on, but we still have a Rumble. I think we're still going to try to do like a Rumble podcast next week because it is split into like 2 group stages. But keep this in mind. You guys can brag about it in the next coming weeks once those episodes get up or once we get around to recording those. But I want to thank you guys for listening. This was a ton of fun. I love geeking out about competitive League of Legends. It's seriously, it's like I say it every time I have an opportunity to, but it is the 1A to my Call of Duty, or it's the 1B in my Call of Duty 1A. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, thank you to Alex and Dylan for coming on. Again, thank you guys for spending the last 2.5 hours or so talking about League.
I could go another 2.5. Like it's always my pleasure.
This is fun. Let's go. Let's play a few after that.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Hopefully next week we can get you guys out a Rumble podcast as well, and hope you guys enjoy that as well. But until then, I'm Billy Spots from DuckTV Esports, joined by Alex Larvick and Dylan Barton. We will see you guys soon.